Hello, this is Mr. Hornsby 83. This is the Mr. Hornsby 83 show, and I'm home after the adventure we had on Monday with the freaking birthday toy hunt. Did not find nothing, unfortunately. I'm a bit upset about that, but you know, I had fun doing those videos. But you know what? It is Mortal Kombat month. So today we're going to talk about everybody's favorite Mortal Kombat game, Mortal Kombat 1 for Xbox One, Xbox One, Series X, Series S, whatever. I'm going to give my opinion on why I think the game died out and why, you know, NetherRelm Studios gave up on it as quickly as they did, because usually NetherRelm Studios, especially with recent Mortal Kombat games, they like to stick with it all the way until they're about ready to start the product on the next Mortal Kombat game. And honestly, to me, I mean, shoot, Mortal Kombat really started going downhill after Armageddon, because then we got Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Then we got Mortal Kombat 9, which, you know what? I'm not saying Mortal Kombat 9 is a bad game. I'm just not as high on it as a lot of other people are. Then we had X, which was a good game. 9 was a good game too. They were good games, but then 11 and 1 have not been so good. Honestly, you could say the games went downhill after Shaolin Monks came out. Because once Shaolin Monks came out, that's when Mortal Kombat really went downhill, because Armageddon sucked. Then you got Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Then you got freaking Mortal Kombat 9, where they just reset the timeline. Then you got Mortal Kombat X. And then you got Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 1. And like I said, I'm going to break down some of my opinions and some of the reasons why I think this thing went down. Also listening to a lot of other YouTubers who, you know, didn't care for this game. We'll talk about some of their gripes with the game as well. So I'm going to be talking about all that. But first and foremost, one thing I got to say, I think, you know, that really, and it's something that irritated me, and I'm pretty sure it started irritating on a lot of other people, is when the trailer came out for Mortal Kombat 1, it looked like, oh, you know, they're resetting everything, and then you see a bunch of villains come out, and then you see that Shang Tsung comes out as the main villain. Because up until that trailer, people were speculating, oh, maybe it'll be a different villain this time, maybe, you know, we'll get Onaga finally, and yada 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 yada. That didn't happen. Instead, we got Titan Shang Tsung. And I think that's the thing that bothered a lot of people, because people are probably sick and tired of Shang Tsung. But anybody who played the Mortal Kombat 11 expansion saw that Shang Tsung in one timeline took over the the hourglass thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just, you know. And then, now let's jump into the actual game. One of the big gripes I've heard everybody talk about, especially at 1, they didn't complain about it too much with 9, 10, 11, but one of the big gripes that I hear a lot of people talk about is the fact of the special guest characters. I've heard so many frickin' people complain about that. Is there a reason why they are not fans of Mortal Kombat 1? And on top of that, you got the cameo system. And like, you're taking a lot of the favorite Mortal Kombat characters out, and you're putting in other characters that shouldn't even have anything to do with Mortal Kombat, but they are in the game. So that's another gripe I've heard. Even though I didn't hear people gripe about it too much in X, although I didn't hear people gripe about it too much, even though I didn't hear people gripe about it too much in frickin' 11 and 9. But the cameo system, yeah, you know, I thought it was dumb. I mean, it was really stupid. I mean, it just, I don't know, what's the purpose of it? I mean, seriously. What is the purpose of it? That was one of my gripes with the game. But now let's get into something else that I think really tore into this game. They took away the ability to roam, I believe, freely in the crypt. I don't even think you got, you know, lack of extras. Like the crypt and some other things you're able to do in like 9, 10, and X. And a lot of people were not happy about that. Then you had the stupid invasion thing, which was also stupid. But, you know, it's what it is. I mean, they really could have did more with Mortal Kombat 1. They had it took them quite a few years after freaking 11. A good number of years after 11 before they decided to make 1. 11 came out, like 2015, and then like 1 just came out like 2 years ago. So I don't know. They could have done a lot more with it. I think another thing that bothered a lot of people, and like I said with the story, something that bothered a lot of people with the story was the fact that the story was pretty good up until the end. Then you got into the Armageddon battle again. You find out that there's a new deadly alliance, the Titan Shang Tsung and Titan Quan Chi. And some characters did get to shine, such as, you know, Reptile, Baraka. All of them got to shine this time around in this game. Li Mei got her shine on in this game as well. But, yeah. I think that was something that was good about the game. But like I said, at the end, the story, Melina also got some shine, but at the end, the story just fell apart with all the Armageddon stuff. And then you get the cliffhanger ending of, oh my god, after he's been a jobber throughout the whole game, we're getting Titan Havoc, which was the main villain for the DLC pack they came out with. What was it called? Shoot. Can't think of it. It's an easy name to remember, but I can't think of the frickin' name right now. But Titan Havoc was the main villain of the last DLC they just came out with for Mortal Kombat 1. And you know what, that was cool and all, but you seriously just, you know, totally screwed up something with it. Because if you're gonna have him be the main villain of the DLC, why even put him in the regular game? Something personally I didn't like about the freaking game was the fact that Shao Kahn was just a total jobber in this. Shao Kahn, one of the greatest villains ever created, whether it's in video games, cartoons, comic books, whatever. One of the greatest villains ever made really was on job duty in this game, and that's because Liu Kang nerfed him. Fire Guard Liu Kang nerfed him. I'm like, seriously? He was General Shao in this. Another day, a lot of people complain about with Mortal Kombat 1 is the lack of specialty. I mean, honestly, if you've watched 616 Entertainment's video of this a few weeks ago, he kind of touched on a few things I'm touching on right now. But he had a really good breakdown of it. And, yeah, broke down but the lack of specialty that the original games had. Because Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, you were always excited about these secret characters that you could find. such as, Reptile in the first game, Jade and Smoke in the second game, and Ermac maybe. And then you had Noob Saibot and that in the third game and all that. And then, people just felt like after 4, the games just, didn't feel as special. They were still good games, even though people hated 4. They were still good games, but they just didn't feel as special as they used to be. So. But after 4, we got Deception, Deadly Alliance, and Shaolin Monks. So, yeah. Those were all good games. But one of my gripes with the game is like I said, this whole freaking time stuff is really annoying with Mortal Kombat. It's like Armageddon, Raiden for the future sends the best respect to Raiden from the past. And, I don't know. And then with X, I was not a fan of freaking Cassie Cage becoming the one to stop Shinnok. Anybody else but Cassie Cage, but yeah, it is what it is. 11, I really didn't care for 11 that much either. I mean, 11, Kronika was, I talk about Shinnok and how easy he is in Mortal Kombat 4 because he's a little bit tougher in X. But, boy, the only thing with Kronika is it's annoying when she does the go back in time spot. Other than that, she's easy to beat. But, yeah, it's just freaking just lame. But, in my opinion, where Mortal Kombat lost its luster was with Armageddon. Because, and with the story mode in general, I mean, the story modes they put in the 3D era games, like, Deadly Alliance, Deception, Conquest wasn't that great in this Deadly Alliance, but Deception was really good. And Armageddon's Conquest was really good. And I felt like the freaking storyline in Mortal Kombat vs. DC, that was like a convoluted storyline. 9, you kind of understand what Raiden's trying to do, but, it just, For me, when they went to NetherRelm Studios, that's kind of when Mortal Kombat games lost their luster. Because when they were making midway Mortal Kombat games, the Mortal Kombat games were really good. Even with freaking Armageddon, which still had some fun stuff with challenging bosses and all that. But, I feel like once they switched over to NetherRelm, it was just like, they lost a lot of luster with the Mortal Kombat games. And, that's what it is. But, and the reason why I don't like Mortal Kombat vs. DC is not the reason why a lot of other people does, because of less gore and all that crap. Because I know a lot of people, but I sit there and I look at this and I'm like, wait a minute. We got DC characters against Mortal Kombat characters. First of all, that game should have been considered a crossover, not a freaking sequel. Because the true sequel was 9. But I sit there and look and I'm thinking, which DC characters really have a chance against the Mortal Kombat character? Because, I mean, Mortal Kombat characters, and I talked about this last year, or a couple years ago, where I talked about the Street Fighter characters and the Mortal Kombat characters, and which, fighting game is better, and which fighting game has the more powerful characters and all that stuff. And I ultimately said, well, Mortal Kombat characters are stronger because a lot of those characters, just one of those characters could beat a freaking god. Whereas in DC, Superman is a god, so he can handle gods. Wonder Woman, she's a god, she can handle gods. Maybe the Green Lantern and that. But how are the DC characters on equal footing and equal power scaling with the Mortal Kombat characters? Mortal Kombat characters are like probably the strongest characters outside of Dragon Ball Z / Dragon Ball Super / Dragon Ball Daima characters. I'd say, and even freaking Mortal Kombat, even freaking Dragon Ball characters cannot beat, certain ones cannot beat a god. Like, you know, Goku and Vegeta cannot beat Beerus yet. And a lot of the other universes that have strong warriors outside of the one we're Jiren's from, they can beat a god. Or they're more powerful than the god that's in their world. But, yeah, Dragon Ball characters are higher ranked than lower ranked gods. Like, you know, King Kai and Supreme Kai and all that. But they're not lower ranked than freaking Beerus. But anyway, so it's like, how are these DC characters even able, like, how can the Flash keep up with a character from Mortal Kombat? I mean, yeah, the Flash got super speed and all that. How can my favorite superhero of all time, Batman, keep up with a Mortal Kombat character? How can frickin' any of the humans, any of the heroes in, you know, DC's universe be able to keep up with Mortal Kombat characters? I mean, seriously. It's a different story with Street Fighter and X-Men. That's a totally different story. Like, God stuff. Heck. And I'd say some of the Marvel characters are probably even stronger than Street Fighter characters. So I don't get it. How the heck DC characters can keep up outside of Superman and Wonder Woman and maybe a Green Lantern? How can they keep up with freaking characters that can defeat gods like Shao Kahn and that? I mean, seriously. I have no freaking clue. But, you know, it's what it is. But, yeah. Mortal Kombat vs. DC, that's why I don't like that game. Mortal Kombat 9, good game, but I think it's a bit overrated. Mortal Kombat X, again, good game, but a bit overrated. 11 and freaking 1, not really that good. But, you know, and I think a lot of the luster, and, you know, I think that's the thing, too. Said Boone and them think, well, if we put a lot more gore in these other Mortal Kombat games, since we got to make up for what we did in Mortal Kombat vs. DC, then maybe people like it. And it wasn't all about the gores with Mortal Kombat. It was about the storylines and all that stuff, and the powerful characters and all that. And, you know, etc., etc., etc. Which is kind of weird, because in Armageddon, how the heck, what's the point in freaking building up freaking Tavon and Dagon if they were just going to lose to Shao Kahn and Raiden? I mean, I don't get it. Another thing with Mortal Kombat, you know, like I said, it just doesn't feel as special as it did with the older games. I like the older games a lot better, including Deadly Alliance, Deception, and frickin' Shaolin Monks. But after that, I have not really been. I either hated the Mortal Kombat game, or I have not been as high on the Mortal Kombat game as I would be against on those games. I even like Mortal Kombat 4. I know a lot of people hate that. And I kinda like frickin', a lot of people go frickin' kill me for this one. I kinda like Mythologies a little bit. Yes, the game is terrible. Yes, there's bad mechanics and all that stuff, but I kinda still like the game. I mean, it's not a popular opinion, but I kinda still like Mythologies. Heck, when I did a playthrough of it last year, why do you think I didn't rant as much as other people did when they played that game? Or talking about how, oh, I'm gonna go insane and blow my head out, blow out my brains or whatever, like a lot of other people did when they played that game. Now, yeah, the game is terrible though, a janky, cluttered mess, but I kind of enjoy the game. It's cool to get to play as Sub-Zero. I mean, it's cool to get to do all this stuff. It's cool to freaking see Quan Chi look like a boss instead of, you know, looking like a freaking total wuss who gets beat by everybody. So, yeah, I'm a big Quan Chi fan. And he was built up as the main boss in that game. Yeah, you get a fight with Shinnok at the end, but who really cares about that? But yeah, I mean, I kind of like Mythology. Never play Special Forces, don't want to play Special Forces, because I'm not a big Jax fan anyway, you know, or a Sonya Blade fan. But I love Sub-Zero. You get to fight Scorpion a couple times in that game. So yeah, I kind of like mythologies. And I know it's not a popular opinion. But that's why, you know, people's entitled to their own opinions. And I'm entitled to my own opinion. I kind of like the game. Now, I know the game's terrible. It's a bad game. I'm emphasizing that. It is a bad, terrible game. But I enjoy playing it. Even if it does drive me crazy sometimes. The game can drive me crazy. But I just think, well, you know, if it gets too annoying for me, I'll just turn it off, play something else. Yeah, that's what I do. But, yeah. But anyway, you know, another gripe that people have had. I went off on a tangent on other stuff, talking about a bunch of other things. Another gripe people have had is, you know, at the end of the frickin' DLC for Mortal Kombat 11, people talk about how Liu Kang went back in time to see the Great Kung Lao. But yet they didn't pull the trigger on that because then they wouldn't be able to put characters like Scorpion and that in it. And I can see why people are saying that because, yeah. You know, I gotta say, if you're gonna do that, at least frickin' pull the trigger on it. I know Scorpion and them are popular characters. But a lot of times when you've done Mortal Kombat games without certain characters in it, they still do pretty well, so I don't know. Maybe Mortal Kombat 1 would be better received if they did a lot better with it. Instead of frickin' just, you know, going with the same old status quo as the game has always had over the years. So, but honestly, like I said, I enjoyed the story until the end, and I'm like, oh god, again, Shang Tsung again, why? You know, it's like, well, that's why I kind of like Street Fighter 4, because you're not dealing with Bison as the main boss this time. It's freaking a different guy. It's Seth. But yeah. But I'm like, oh my god, again? Why? Why are people sucking on Shang Tsung? Oh my god. He got beat by the Great Kung Lao. Then he gets beat by Liu Kang. And then the plan he had afterwards for frickin' trying to help Shao Kahn invade the Earth Realm failed. This guy's a failure. He even failed to try to destroy the, Liu Kang's timeline. Or Fire God Liu Kang's timeline that he started. Shang Tsung is a failure. At least Shao Kahn almost killed everybody in Armageddon. And, became the one being, like his former mentor, the frickin' Dragon King. Another thing I think a lot of people don't like about the new Mortal Kombat games is some of the new characters they've introduced. And honestly, I gotta say, I think the best introduction of new characters they did with Mortal Kombat was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance and Deception, because you got characters like Ken Shi, who became popular, Li Mei, Natara, Bo Raicho. I know Bo Raicho gets put on a lot of people's worst Mortal Kombat character lists. How is Bo Raicho on the list, but frickin' Striker isn't? Striker sucks. Anyway, or how is Cassie Cage and them not on the list? You know, who else did they introduce in that game? I don't know, in Deception you got Hotaru, Draman, and all them guys, you know. Or Darius and all them guys were in. And we haven't seen those characters since. Also, that's the thing too, Mortal Kombat, when they introduce new characters, they bring them in for maybe a game or two, and then you don't see them ever again. Which is crazy. I mean, look at freaking Mortal Kombat X. You had the introduction of Kodo Khan, and Cascade, and Takeda, and, Jin Kui, and Jacqueline Briggs, and all that. And now they are freaking no longer existing in Mortal Kombat 1. Because they erased them all. I don't know, but I think one of the biggest things with Mortal Kombat is they went to fix the timeline with 9, and then they went and made it more convoluted than that with 11 and frickin' 1. I think that's another gripe that people have about Mortal Kombat. And, you know, all the spectacular stuff from the older games you haven't seen in the newer games. And there's nothing special anymore about special characters. Now, yeah, they got a new secret character in this new one that you get to fight, but yeah. I don't think really people really care about that. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But, yeah. It is what it is with Mortal Kombat these days. I mean, the games, really to me, felt like they took a dip after Shaolin Monk. So yeah. No introduction of new original villains. We wanted to see Onaga too. We wanted to see Onaga. But you know what? My hope is, with the next Mortal Kombat game, first of all, they fixed the timeline again. And say the events of Mortal Kombat 1 does not count. They fix the timeline and they make Onaga the main villain. That would be great, in my opinion, on Mortal Kombat. Because Onaga was a really good villain. They'll only be featured in 2 Mortal Kombat games. But yeah, we have villains like Shang Tsung who gets to be featured as the main villain in several games. Mortal Kombat 1, the original Mortal Kombat 1. Deadly Alliance. And then this freaking game. Mortal Kombat 1. Lame. Anyway. Yeah, this video was kind of all over the place a bit. But I think I broke down some of the main reasons why I think this game did not do as well as the previous games. And I talked about, you know, like I said, the cameo system, people hated that. The special guest things, I guess people are starting to get tired of that. And, you know, overall the story just being, you know, completely garbage. And then the frickin', it was good at the beginning, then at the end it just fell apart. And, you know, the convoluted timeline. And not pulling the trigger on something you teased in the last game. And, you know, that's just my opinion on things. Not to mention some of the new characters you handle, like Kodo Khan could have been an awesome, badass character. So could have been Devora, but then you frickin' screw them up in every game they've been in so far. So, yeah. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on why you think Mortal Kombat 1 was killed. Or why you think NetherRealm Studios gave up on it so easily. And why the community of Mortal Kombat fans hate this game so much. Let me know in the comments. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe for more. Tune into my, follow my Facebook fan page, the Mr. Hornsby 83 Show. Follow my Facebook business page, Trigen Toys. And I'll see you guys Friday for a playthrough of Mortal Kombat 5, one of my favorite games in the franchise. But till then, catch you guys later. Peace out. Unless I do shorts tomorrow. Peace out.